this to you. It's from the Chicago Sun-Times, and I knew this was going to happen to me. It's from a horrible woman. She wrote this article. Her name is Cindy Perlman, and she is filth, and she is a liar. Because,
you know her?
I think I met her at the screening of Star Wars. And I'll tell you why she's a liar, and anybody who was there with me will back me up. All right, it says, Chicago Sun-Times, stern warning. One person was not savoring the moment at the New York press premiere of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Alas, shock jock Howard Stern didn't have the special pass that allowed you to sit with the media types in a roped-off balcony area. Faced with the mind-boggling fate of having to sit with the common folks, the WCKG FM morning man did the only natural thing. He paced around, pouted profusely, and complained to everyone in sight. Finally, and maybe to shut him up, he was allowed to sit with the press. That's where things really got rough. Journalists started asking tough questions like, why do you like Star Wars? To which one of Stern's pals barked, Howard's not here to work. But that wasn't the true low point. One young woman obviously didn't know who Stern was and asked him if the other seats in his row were taken. Howard just said nothing, while his people indicated that Howard wasn't there to work as an usher either. All right, so here's the truth.
Wow, you are something when you go out.
So it makes me have to be Rosie O'Donnell sitting and pouting and screaming. So here's what happens. And Gary, I think, well, never mind that Gary, but listen to this. So I go to this press screening. I get there, and there's about 20 rows of seats in total in this little theater. I'm in the third row. The screen is huge. So I see there are 2 rows of seats that are completely empty. And I say to a guy, hey, could I sit back there? I don't want to sit on top of the screen. I'll go blind, for God's sakes. The guy says to me, those are all reserved seats. You have to have a special pass. He says, but let me go ask someone. I said, okay, I'll stand over here on the side of the theater. If you go ask someone, I'd really appreciate it. I don't want to sit on top of the screen. I'm literally 3 rows back from a huge screen. Yeah. So I'm standing there, and people are coming up and talking to me and stuff, and I'm going, hey, how you doing? So that's what this woman's indicating is me pouting. I didn't pout. I said to them, if you can't accommodate me, it's fine. I'll just stand over in the corner here until you see if you can...
Right, so you're just standing there waiting for them to get an answer.
And I'm talking to everybody. I only talked to one guy. About 10 minutes later...
Did you not answer a reporter's question?
Wait, I'm going to tell you the whole story, and you tell me if I'm out of line. Because, Gary, I think you've been to about 1 million of these things with me, and so have you, Robin. Have I ever sat... am I the type of guy who sits there and complains and starts pouting?
No. You know, the publicist for the movie asked me, if you were going to be there, could she do anything special? And she was very worried about meeting you. Yeah. I said, listen, I've been with Howard for 15 years. I have never, ever, ever seen him mistreat anybody, or yell at anybody, or kick and scream, or do the things that you hear that Rosie O'Donnell does. I said,
I was so thrilled to be at the Star Wars thing that I was getting in. I would have sat in the third row, and, listen, it would have been tough to watch, but at the same point, I said, wait.
If you see some seats.
There are 2 empty rows. There are 2 empty rows, but someone said to me, look, I'd love to let you sit here. I've got to check with someone. I said, fine. So I'm standing around for 10 minutes, and what she says, me yelling at everyone and running around, I was talking to anybody in the audience. People were coming up saying, Howard, I love the show. All right? So, okay, cool. So I'm sitting around, and I'm waiting for it, and this woman comes back, and she goes, this is Samuel L. Jackson's row. She goes, but he's not taking up the whole row. We'd love for you to sit here. Go right ahead. So I sit down. Then I'm sitting there. About 2 minutes later, this fat broad, I think, Cindy Perlman, I don't know if it's her. It's hard to tell from the picture, comes over with a pad and starts yammering something about Star Wars and wants...
So she was the one who asked the question.
She started asking me questions. So I said to her, I really don't have anything to say about it. I didn't really come here to be interviewed.
You said this to her?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't really come here to be interviewed. And Ralph goes, hey, he's not working right now. Ralph says that.
Yeah.
And I turned to Ralph afterwards and said, you know what, you're obnoxious. I didn't ask you to speak for me. Shut your mouth. Really.
Yeah.
But I explained to the woman, I said, I don't want to be interviewed about Star Wars. I didn't come there to be interviewed about Star Wars. I just came to watch a movie.
Really, man?
How could I comment on Star Wars? I hadn't even seen it yet.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, these people are being pretty nice to me. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Screw it. And anything I want to say, I'm going to say on my radio show. That's kind of how I felt. I really don't want to do interviews. But I was pleasant to her. I wasn't disrespectful. I just said, hey, I said, I don't really want to do an interview now. So she sits back down. I turned to the guys that I was with. I was 3 guys. And I said, you know what? She's going to write something crappy about me because she's all burned out that, like, you know, hey, I didn't write her article for her.
Yeah.
But what about
well, what about this last part?
Yeah.
So I don't even remember this, but I think a woman came over at one point and asked me if the row was taken, and I said, I don't know. But that's all I said to her.
Because they're not your seats.
They're not my seats. They're Samuel L. Jackson's.
You wouldn't speak to anybody.
I spoke to everybody there. I was standing. In fact, for 10 minutes, I was just standing there waiting to find out if I could sit down in this so-called reserved section.
But what she's saying even about her question to you and the person who asked about the row of seats was that you let everybody else speak.
No.
Your people spoke for you. You refused to even look up.
No, I was talking to everybody. In fact, when I was waiting to find out if I could sit down, everybody was coming over to me, talking about the show, what they'd heard, and all this kind of stuff. And I don't know. I met a lot of nice people that night. She's supposing that I was sitting and complaining about my seats. I wasn't. But that's what I knew this woman was, and I wish I could use the C word for a woman's private parts. I really, that's what that is. She's the C word, because I know what it was. She was sitting there waiting for me to give her some funny answers that she could print and write her story for her, because she doesn't have a witty thought in her head.
Oh, did you see whoever's column today? But it would have been your words.
I want Cindy Perlman to call me, or in fact, you call her, and tell her if she's got any kind of balls to get on the phone with me, and I want the facts where she says I was complaining to anybody. That's a goddamn lie.
Go and investigate this story? This hard story? No, because the point of the matter is I asked one usher guy there if I could change my seat, and he said he had to go check. It took him about 10 minutes to find the woman. I waited on the sidelines. I didn't even sit down in the seats, and I waited. It's unbelievable. This is why you don't go out.
Yeah. I just knew when this woman, Cindy Perlman, came by, and I was so respectful to her. I said, I really don't want to do an interview right now.
Yeah, but, Ralph always has a way of sending people off with a good feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he wants to be, he wants to be.
Shut him up.
Yeah. Well, I can't go out with him, but believe me, I was fine to her.
I'm just saying that, that didn't help the situation, him piping up.
No, he's like,
not working.
Yeah, he goes like, hey, man, he's not working right now.
Yeah. Ralph could piss off a statue.
Oh, yeah, right. Piss off a statue. You're absolutely right. He could piss off a dead man.
Yeah. I just said to her, I don't really want to do an interview right now. I said, I really don't have anything to say about Star Wars. I mean, she was asking me questions like, why is Star Wars important to you? And it's like, I want to be part of that lame article.
Not important.
Yeah, I want to see the movie. I'm here the same reason you are, lady. I'm here to sort of, find out what it's about and talk to my audience about it.
So F off, you stupid.
Why are you here?
Yeah, so Ralph piped in. But so what if Ralph piped in? I wasn't rude to her.
But you know what? Nobody sees Ralph.
Yeah, and by the way,
whatever Ralph says is what you said.
I know, but never mind that. She's lying because I wasn't standing around bitching about the seats. Hey, Peter.
Hey.
Where's Peter?
Hey.
I don't know.
Oh. I thought maybe he was the usher.
Hey, your dad knows how to read a newspaper on the subway. He knows how to order in a restaurant. How come he doesn't know how to go to the dentist to get those teeth fixed?
My dad doesn't have the best teeth. He doesn't care. I told him I'd take him to the dentist to get his teeth fixed. He didn't want to.
Another thing. Why is Fred sitting so close to the guest?
I don't know.
This guy's full of questions.
And what are you worried about my dad's teeth for, anyway?
You're worried about everybody else.
Nah, F you.
What's your big nose?
Big nose.
No.
Hey, Robin, you got that blue outfit on again?
Yes. Yes, just for you.
Jackie's great.
You're Jackie, man.
Jackie's great.
I couldn't have guessed.
Insult everybody in the show and then align with me.
Right. I love you. You're Jackie, man.
One guy that doesn't say F Jack.
Thank you. Yeah, hi.
Just like Jackie.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, you're on the air.
How you doing? I want to verify that what you're saying is absolutely true. I was staying there in the theater. You were not pouting. You were staying there. Just as you said.
Did you talk to him?
Huh?
Did you talk to him?
No, I didn't talk to him.
No.
But I wasn't doing anything. I was just standing around trying to change my seat.
Yeah, you stood there quietly, didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Talked to one person.
Yeah.
And until I found you a seat and we sat there.
I know. You can't win. And plus, I'm not the type that, I can't stand people who have some degree of fame or importance who sit there and carry on like maniacs. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm telling you.
You were the calmest, the nicest. You came in, you just watched, waited.
I just waited, and if they said to me they couldn't change my seat, I said, that's fine. I even said to the woman, I said, if this is an imposition in any way, don't even, deal with it. I said, but I would love to be able to sit a little further back. That was it. That was the conversation. So now I'm rude in the newspaper and I'm a dick. Yeah. Thanks.
No problem.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Because I can't stand guys like that. By the way, Doug Trent sends in a couple of things for ladies. He says, you know your man is cheating when he sends you a postcard from his honeymoon. You know your man is cheating when you get dressed to go out to dinner, and he says, my girlfriend has the same outfit. You know your man is cheating when he gets 3 Father's Day cards and you've never been pregnant.
So a few more tips for the ladies.
Yeah.
We can write our own book.
There's going to be a sequel.
Let me give a shout-out to a good friend of the show who always does the show when we need her. Sandra Taylor is on ER.
Oh, tonight's her big ER episode.
She called in, but evidently Gary says that she hung up and we can't call back because her husband and baby are sleeping. She doesn't want to wake
Be out
them.
in Los Angeles.
Yeah, but okay, so everybody tune into ER.
Sandy Taylor.
A hot piece of ass. You'll enjoy looking at her.
Great show.
You'll enjoy that.
Jackie runs around. He's like Mr. ER. Great show. Great show.
Fred yelling. It's a great show, but I don't run around.
Yeah, but you know what? Who cares what you
Every
think?
time you say ER, it's sort of like saying the guy from Perfect 10 magazine,
Norm Zeta?
Norm Zeta, and you get that.
Yeah.
Every time you say ER, great show.
Great show, great show. Great show. Jackie injecting himself into it.
Automatic, like Pavlov's dog.
Dude, we don't care what you think.
Great show.
We just want you to be quiet.
Great show.
Great show.
So funny.
Jillian claims her boyfriend is in Nigarachi. Evidently, Nigarachi is a band.
Oh, great.
Jillian, is that correct?
Yeah, he's the drummer, actually.
Oh. I thought Nigarachi was a guy who played the piano, but he was black.
Well, I don't know about him. I'm not too sure about this, the Nas thing either. But Nigarachi is a band. They play in New York City, and it's a 3-man band, and my boyfriend is the drummer.
Are they black guys?
Well, my boyfriend's white, and the other 2 guys are black.
Yeah, you don't want to be white in a band called Nigarachi.
Yeah, what's up with that?
No, it's not that. It's not meant in an anti-white way or anything.
No, but the word nigger is kind of offensive.
Well, they don't. They're using it in the best way possible.
Like, how is that?
Well, they don't mean it. They're not meaning it to be offensive. It's not meant to be an offensive term. It's just a band. It's just the name they came up with.
They're the only ones who know it.
What's up with that?
I'm going to meet the guy named Nigarachi.
I can get you in touch with my boyfriend, and he can get you in touch with the man himself.
All right, hold on.
Sure.
So we might be talking to Nigarachi.
Pretty soon. It could happen.
Nigarachi.
What do you got to say?